Yo, yo, what's going on? We're back with the Vert pod. And man, we just had a pretty exciting end of the NFL season yesterday. So excited to talk some football here with my guy E, and I'll get ready for the playoffs. And it's going to be a big, kind of a new, I shouldn't say big, it's going to be a new horizon in the NFL because so many of the teams that we're used to seeing in the playoffs are now just not even in there. So definitely gonna be excited to watch this year's playoffs and see what happens. It seems like it's kind of wide open, so it should be fun. So outside of that, just kicking it with my guy E, man. How you feeling today?
Feeling great, man. Haven't felt this good in a long time. Broncos have the number one seed. I had to put on the jersey, the John Elway jersey for the pod. So now I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling better than ever, and now I have expectations. So I have expectations to win the Super Bowl now. I didn't think I would say that just when we started the year off. Probably 4 games through the season, 5 games through the season. I told you there's a lot of parallels to the 2015 Denver Broncos team, but that was still just talking. I didn't really believe that the Broncos would finish this strong, and I said I wouldn't have any expectations for them to even. I wouldn't even consider them winning the Super Bowl unless they got the number one seed, and somehow here we are. They have the number one seed. They lost 3 games, two of which games were won on last second field goals. So crazy season. I can't believe we're here already, especially with just all the new bloods, like you're saying, that have a chance to win. I think there's only two quarterback coach combos that have won the Super Bowl right now, and that's Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, and then you got Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. So this is what a lot of people want. They want parity in professional sports. They want to see teams that haven't won before. Most people feel that way. Do you feel that way?
I think it sounds good in theory, and I think for the most part it is true. But if you look at kind of America's sports, you think of some of our most iconic teams and teams that we have always stood behind as just fans. You're looking at Jordan with the Bulls, Dynasty, right? Golden State Warriors with Steph and Clay and Kevin Durant. And then you talk about football with the Patriots and the Chiefs of late. And then before that, I am a true like historian, so I might be forgetting some things. I'm just talking about more recent stuff. But I think it definitely makes it good. But when we don't have dynasties, kind of like how the NBA has been the last, what, 6 or 7 years, where a different team wins every year, I think it's kind of, it has its pros and its cons. The pros, of course, that it's wide open. A lot of teams have opportunity. But the cons, I feel like the storylines aren't as strong because, if you're talking about Patrick Mahomes trying to chase Tom Brady, LeBron trying to chase Jordan, like those type of things kind of fall to the wayside when you have a lot of new teams, a lot of new players coming in. But at the end of the day, it's great for sports and it's great for all these different cities to have an opportunity to cheer for their teams. But I do think from the outside picture, it kind of in some aspects you lose a little bit of like a storyline or like I would love to see Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen play again or Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, but we saw that, so it is nice to see some new things. So pros and cons for me.
For sure, some pros and cons. I think the Lamar versus Josh Allen and Josh Allen versus let's say Patrick Mahomes, those were the storylines of the past in a way. A lot of those guys have been in the league for 7 years now. So I think there's some new storylines that are just now starting to be had. And going back on that point you made with like the dynasties, and like we like to see dynasties in a way, and like to see the storylines of chasing greatness, like Pat chasing Tom Brady. I was thinking about it, and of the dynasties, the ones that I actually rooted for and didn't want to see them lose. I feel like I wanted to see a lot of the dynasties to lose. I got fatigued very quick with the Patriots and Tom Brady twice, two different stints with them. I got tired of the Chiefs. I'm getting tired of the Eagles. Um, Jordan era, I didn't really see. I would say I wasn't really tired of the Spurs, dynasty that they had, and the Warriors. Those are the Spurs and the Warriors are the only like dynastic teams that I didn't get tired of. I enjoy when the NFL. I don't know. NBA might just be a little different for me, but I guess I don't mind it as much in the NBA. But in the NFL, I wouldn't mind if someone different won it every year.
Yeah, I can see that with the two different sports. With basketball, it's so much harder for a team that isn't the best team in the league to not win the championship just because you got to beat a team 4 times in a 7 game series. And usually in that scenario, the better team wins. So if you have a team that is a dynasty and you have everyone under contract for whatever amount of years, then you can expect to see them be there time in and time out, which is kind of what we're expecting is going to happen maybe with the Thunder. But we've been saying that about some of these teams that have been winning recently, like Boston last year, Denver the year before that, and they weren't able to make it back. And that has been great for the NBA, I think, now. With the NFL, it's a little bit different because you just got one game, man. It's just one game. So it's really hard to repeat. So it just shows the greatness of these guys that have been doing it recently. It shows the greatness of Mahomes and the greatness of Tom Brady because you can't mess up in the NFL. You got one game to beat one team. So it's pretty impressive. And this year it's going to be fun because we haven't seen these guys in these situations before, a lot of them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll definitely be back on our picks for this this week. So let's look at the playoff bracket. Your playoff teams out of the AFC are the Broncos, Steelers, Texans, Jaguars, Bills, Patriots, and Chargers. And then on the NFC side, your playoff teams are the Seahawks, Panthers, Rams, Eagles, 49ers, Bears, and Packers. So the biggest shockers to me that made the playoffs are the Jags, Patriots, maybe Broncos, and then Panthers, Bears, and then Seahawks. So there's about 3 on both sides that, I could have been. If the Broncos and the Seahawks didn't even make the playoffs, I wouldn't have been surprised, and they got the number 1 seed. And then I don't really have to explain the Panthers, Bears, Jags, and Patriots. No one expected the Patriots to go to play that well this year. So let's just jump right into the wild card games, wild card weekend. So we'll start in the AFC. You have a chance to redeem yourself. I took you in the regular season, but maybe you take me in the playoffs and get all your picks right and get the champion right. So we'll start with you. Steelers, big game, big win yesterday. Probably lucky, but their kicker missed a field goal too, or an extra point. Steelers won. So Steelers are going to the Houston Texans. Do you think C.J. Stroud is going to win this game, or do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to win and move on?
So I'm not going to say that CJ Stroud's going to win this game, but I'll say the Texans will win this game because their defense against Aaron Rodgers, I don't really see too much possibilities for Aaron Rodgers to get enough time. And obviously at his age, he's not mobile enough. I know he gets the ball out really quick, but that Texans defense will get after you just as quick. And we saw even at the end of the season when the Steelers had to play the Browns, who are a 3-win team or 4-win team, uh, when they were in that scenario where Myles Garrett and the defensive line for the Browns was just getting in the backfield so quickly and how that affected Aaron Rodgers. And I think that would be the same against a better Texans team, of course, compared to the Browns. So I think that Houston should win this game just based off their defense and being able to slow down Aaron Rodgers. And I think the offense for Houston will be able to do just enough.
I think I think C.J. Stroud could very well lose this game for the Texans, whereas I don't see Aaron Rodgers losing the game for the Steelers. I do like the Texans overall better as a team, just top to bottom better as a team. And I was really looking at that Steelers depth chart last night, and DK Metcalf didn't play, so I'm looking at the depth chart. And I'm like, surely they have somebody else. Like they have somebody on this roster that is like maybe a poor man's DK Metcalf or something, and they don't have anything. No receivers. I mean, even their running backs, Warren and what's his name, Kenneth Gainwell. I just the talent on the offensive side is so lackluster that I just can't see myself picking this Steelers team to win a playoff game. You have to score in the playoffs. And the Steelers defense is just not what it once was. So I know Steelers are high and they should be. They made the playoffs, and Mike Tomlin is a G. He does it every year. He found a way. So I was happy to see Mike Tomlin do that, but I think you're right. I think the Texans are going to win this one. Okay. Jaguars at Bills. So I'll let you go in with the Jags because this is kind of like your darling team.
Yeah, it's one of my teams that I've been kind of riding with the last couple of years. Last year was a horrible year. They only won, I think, 4 games. And obviously this year they turn around and only lose 4 games or something. Um, the thing with the Jaguars is right now they are playing with a lot of momentum. They're playing with a lot of, looks like they're playing with fun. Like they have joy out there right now. They're winning close games. They're blowing teams out. They've won their last, I want to say 8 games, I'm pretty sure. Their last loss was to Houston. And that game was, they should have won that game. They're up like 21-7 or something and ended up losing. So they've been playing winning football for a long time now. And the Bills are one of those teams that they just have Josh Allen. It's kind of like what you said with the Steelers. When I look at the overall roster for the Bills, especially on offense, I don't really see much. But of course, you got Josh Allen. Cook in the backfield is a great running back. But I don't see too much that scares me unless Josh Allen has one of those electric games, which we all know he's capable of. So, of course, I do think that could happen, but they're playing on the road. Jacksonville's got a lot of momentum right now, so I'm going to go ahead and ride with them. I think Jacksonville can win this game, and I think it'll be high scoring or somewhat high scoring if Josh Allen puts on his cape, which I'm sure he will because he's that capable and he's that type of player. But I like the Jaguars to figure out a way to win this game.
I can't hate on that pick. I can't hate on that pick at all. I've been hating on the Jags. Trevor Lawrence and the Jags for a long time. I don't personally think Trevor Lawrence is it, but he might be making me eat my words with a pretty good second half of the year this year. First half of the year, and I mean, same old Trevor Lawrence. But it is what it is. Jaguars are the 3 seed, and they are, they're playing the Bills. This is my biggest fear, and I think it's going to happen. My biggest fear as a Broncos fan is playing the Bills round 2. So that will require the Bills to beat the Jags. I think Josh Allen, he's been in these situations multiple times, and he's played just as good as Pat Mahomes in these games in the playoffs. His teams just didn't come out and win, but they were very close. He's so much more playoff prepared than Trevor Lawrence has ever been. Trevor Lawrence does have a nice comeback win in the playoffs on his resume, though. 2 years ago, crazy comeback against the Chargers. I actually bet on that, and it was a nice win. So he has
Same.
a nice he has a nice comeback. But I think the Bills are going to win, and then I think the Patriots. This kind of goes into my point, so I'm making my next pick already. I think the Patriots are going to beat the Chargers, and then it's going to be Josh Allen at Denver because they'll be the 6th seed. So it's going to be Josh Allen at Denver for round 2, and that's my biggest fear, and I truly think it's going to happen because Josh Allen is prepared for these moments. I don't think the Bills are going to win at all, but I do think they beat the Jags.
Right.
And then obviously I picked the Patriots to beat the Chargers. It's been hearing a lot of weird stuff with this one. I've been hearing that the Chargers basically chose to go into New England because the Chargers rested their starters this week. So it guaranteed, if the Broncos won against the Chargers, it would guarantee the slot against the Patriots. And it's interesting because I don't think the Patriots are a team people like. I wouldn't think the Chargers are like, let me go play that team. And the Patriots have been playing well all year. So I wouldn't think that the Chargers would be more comfortable playing the Patriots over the Jags. If I'm a fan, I'd probably want to play the Jags. But who knows? Maybe I'm the crazy one. I'm taking the Patriots to win. What do you got in this one?
Yeah, I think out of all these teams in the AFC that are in the wild card games, they're all very equal to me. The only team I would say that I would like, yo, I want to play that team is Pittsburgh. That's the only team where I feel like they have no chance to make a run. So, and the second team would probably be the Chargers because of their injuries and how battered their offensive line has been. And I think New England will take advantage of that. And I think that they should win this game. And to your point that you're just making, I don't think the Chargers were trying to play the Patriots. I think they're just trying to get healthy because their guys are beat up, and they want to
Yeah,
just
I agree.
give them a little bit of a break there before they have to go play a game that really matters, so they can advance. But I don't think it's going to be enough. They've just been too banged up, and New England is another team that's playing with a lot of good, just overall energy and vibes and good spirit. So I think that they should win this game.
Okay. And then when we're done here, we're going to go over the Super Bowl odds because it matters. The Super Bowl odds matters. You know, if you're the team that has the least likely, if you got plus 20,000 to win the Super Bowl, you're just not winning the Super Bowl. So Vegas knows a little bit something. So we will go over the Super Bowl odds here. And back to your point on the Steelers, man, now that's the dream situation. If the wild card in the AFC goes chalky, and that means the higher seed wins, the Broncos will play the Steelers. Yeah. So the Broncos would play the Steelers
Mm.
round 2, and I would I would love that. They would have a field day on Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if you saw him yesterday trying to run a couple times.
Yeah, he was like,
He lost about 5 steps. He is slow as could be, and I love Aaron Rodgers, but man, you could tell he was old. So, man, if we play them Steelers, it's on. We go into the AFC
so just so
Championship
I'm
game.
clear, I know the playoff picture gets a little weird. So if Jacksonville beats Buffalo and if the Steelers were to win, then you guys, Denver would play Pittsburgh.
As long as the Patriots beat the Chargers. So we're going to play the lowest
Oh, whatever the
or
lowest seed is
the high.
remaining.
Yeah, exactly. Is it lowest or highest? I always get confused.
Well,
The lowest.
technically it would be the highest because the
Highest
highest
seed.
number,
Yeah.
but really, like, we know what we're talking about when we say the lowest, the worst.
Yeah, but I want to say it right. Yeah. So the highest. Yeah. So I think it's going to end up. I just think of the Chargers and Bills, one of those teams is going to find a way to win. But if that doesn't happen, yeah, I mean, who knows if the Steelers win? So those are our picks for the AFC, NFC. It really kind of shaped up similar to the AFC. Are the Seahawks really a number 1 seed? Are the Broncos really a number 1 seed? How do these two teams have a bye? I don't know. No one knows how these two teams have a bye in their respective divisions. I still am not. I'm not. I don't think highly of Seattle. I think highly of Denver because they're my team. But Seattle has a bye, and so the first one is Rams. Panthers at Rams. Now remember, I actually did
It's in
the
Carolina.
it is in Carolina, but did Carolina beat them this year?
Yeah, at
Because
home.
I think they did. Yes. So this is the biggest spread of the playoffs, 10.5 points. But you can't forget that the Panthers did beat the Rams. So they have some type of formula. I don't see this being a 10.5 point spread game. I don't see the Rams winning by 11. And Devontae Adams is a big question mark. Let me see what's going on with him.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think actually playoffs 10-point spread it sounds pretty ridiculous to me. And I think I remember during the regular season when these two teams played, it was something the spread was like even greater, I think. And Carolina figured out a way to win. But yeah, I would not put much stock into the Rams losing this game, even if Devontae Adams is limited. Just the last time these two teams played, it was Matthew Stafford just kind of lost his mind for a second. He threw like 3 interceptions. I know one of them was for sure pick six. Might have been like 2 pick sixers or something like that. That's not going to happen again. And Bryce Young continues to kind of just be mid or bad. So yeah, I don't really see the Panthers putting up much of a fight here, even at home. 10 points is kind of, a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is, if the spread holds true.
Yeah. Bryce is at a decent year. I mean, only 3,000 yards passing. if your quarterback is not like above 3,500 yards passing, I don't think that you're confident with your quarterback play or your quarterback going to win you games. That's why I feel the way I do about Jalen Hurts, because he hardly seems like he's hardly sniffing 4,000 yards passing. So yeah, Bryce Young. I mean, if he's only got 3,000, I was going to say he had a lot of touchdowns, but if he only has 3,000 yards, I kind of agree. He's just holding on to by a thread. I'm going to go with the Rams to win this one as well. Devontae Adams is supposed to be back, so I don't know how you stop Tua and Devontae.
And I don't know if you watched that Rams game. I think it was when they were trying to get back in the game against Atlanta or whatever. A couple, either this past weekend or the weekend before, where Puka Nacua, man, this dude is ridiculous. Like, this man catches everything. Some of the plays he makes, it ended up being an incompletion because uh, the ball kind of like
He
jiggled and
dropped.
lost it a little bit. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? That one hander he caught it,
I do,
snagged it.
because the reason I know is because I won my fantasy football league, because I needed Matt Stafford to
Yes.
not go for 27 points, and he was he was that catch would have like made it interesting. So yeah, I
So yeah,
remember.
that night you won your fantasy league, and I won because I don't know if you remember on the pod I said I needed 51 points. The
Yeah.
game ended up being 51 points.
No
So we both,
way.
yeah, right on the dot. So we
How much
both won
money did
some
you
money.
win?
It wasn't as much because it was a tie, so I think it was 175. I had to
That's still
split it
better
because
than.
someone tied it with me. Someone else also picked 51.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they sent a message. They sent a message out yesterday because it was the last game. So they said they're winners for this past week and the overall winner. And then they said they're not letting anyone else in because we got too many people.
Oh,
It's like 120 people in this thing, man. It's crazy.
I was ready to join.
Hey, if someone drops off, they might let you slide in.
I'm sure someone's going to drop off at
Yeah,
122.
yeah, exactly.
um, yeah. So we both have the Rams in that one. Puka he is crazy, man. He's one of those guys that like you judge a book by its cover, right? And as an athlete, you'll understand where I'm going with this. And you look at Puka and you're like, man, this dude's not that athletic. Even when you see him playing football, you're like, man, this guy. But if you were to see Puka like playing like pickup basketball in the a gym, the dude would be like going crazy, like crazy dunks, like stripping it, like his athleticism would transition so well to the basketball court that I think people would be so surprised. And I
Yeah,
think
he's
I
a
say
beast, man.
that.
He's just a freak athlete. And I don't know, like, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, when I see him on the field, he's not small. Like, he looks like he could run some people over too. So yeah, he just looks like a overall athlete for sure. The way he
Yeah, but
moves.
he also is like Polynesian, he's got the long hair. He doesn't look like the guys that dominate. And it's not to like bring race into it or anything, but he doesn't look like the guys that typically dominate that position. You know,
Yeah,
most of
yeah.
his
And
guys
what's
are
funny is too
super
is
jacked, like athletic black guys. Yeah.
yeah, and then even a couple years ago with the Rams when Puka his rookie season, he started to turn up, and they still had Cooper Cup, and they had two guys out there that didn't look like they could do you like that.
Yeah. I know. And like Puka makes Cooper look like unathletic. He's like, do you see that one hand catch
Yeah,
he had yesterday?
I don't think I saw the one yesterday.
Oh my God. You gotta go watch it. You
Yeah,
gotta
he's a
watch it
freak.
after this. Eagles, Niners. This is probably the game of the weekend. This is the one that I personally think is the game of the weekend. I want to see, because the Niners, man, they had a nice end of the second half of the year. I mean, when Brock Purdy came back, I got to give them credit. They battled through injuries, and I give um, Kyle Shanahan a lot of, I give him a lot of, what's the word? I get him a lot of hard times because he's lost so many close games, especially in the Super Bowl, but he's turned that 49ers team around with a lot of injuries. And then the Eagles, people are saying the Eagles, like, they're starting to get it together. Like, this is a team that can go on a run. I personally don't think that. I think the Niners have this game locked up. I think the Niners are going to take care of business. I think they win by 7, 8 points. It's a 4.5 point spread towards Philadelphia. So that lets you know how confident I feel about the Niners.
Yeah, I feel less confident about the Niners just after watching what happened this past weekend against Seattle. Seattle's been a great team, but what was so alarming to me was how the 49ers defense just couldn't really do much. And it's not even like their fault like that. Like it's just they're all banged up. They're all injured. Robert Sala's trying to come up with schemes in order to get some pressure on these quarterbacks and stop this run, but it's not going great. They've been able to overcome it, but I think once you get to the point where you're playing, multiple high level playoff teams, you're going to get bit. And the only thing that's stopping the Eagles is themselves. So I think if the Eagles lose this game, it'll be at their own doing. I think that they should have enough firepower to overcome the 49ers defense and keep up with the 49ers offense if it does turn into a bit of a shootout. But we do know, of course, that the Eagles like to stub their toe all the time. But they won the Super Bowl last year. Jalen Hurts, from what I've seen, he seems to play well in these big games. So I think that will continue. And I think they've been kind of waiting for this moment. It's like, how some of these teams that have been there before, they're almost just waiting for the playoffs. So I don't know if they'll be able to turn on the switch, but right now is the time to do it. So I think the Eagles will win this one.
And the Eagles, you're right about them waiting for the playoffs because they had an opportunity to get the 2 seed and play against the Packers, which is a team I'd probably rather play against. But some teams just don't think of it that way. But if the Eagles were to have won last week, they would have got the 2 seed instead of the Bears. So we'll see. I mean, some of these teams, like when they know they can't get the bye, they're just like, all right, we'll play whoever. And I get that too. You don't want to get your star player hurt right before the playoffs. So, um, sorry, who did you pick? You picked the Eagles to win?
Yeah, I think Eagles will
All
win.
right. All right. Just making sure I got that right. And then last wild card game, Bears at Packers. This is another surprising team that I didn't mention earlier. Maybe I did. Bears being the 2 seed is kind of surprising. And then the Packers, I know that's your Super Bowl pick early in the year, so you got to definitely emphasize it was early in the year before the season started. They made the playoffs, but they are the 7th seed. And they lost Micah Parsons, and Jordan Love's been hurt a little bit, so they're trending down, and the Bears are kind of trending up. And because of that, I'm gonna go with the Bears to win this game.
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me. I want to pick the Packers because I do believe in them even without Micah, but I think Micah Parsons in this type of game would be obviously super important to be able to get after someone like Caleb Williams who's mobile and moving around. And Jordan Love hasn't played in I think like 3 weeks or something like that. So I don't know how he's gonna look first game back in Chicago. Mm, man, this is my hardest one of the week for sure. Um, I'm gonna say Green Bay, but I'm not surprised at all if Chicago wins.
Yeah.
I got to go with the team because I only got one team because from my AFC pick was the Ravens and they didn't even make it, so I got to ride
Yeah.
with my pick. Come on now, come on.
I don't even know what my picks were. I want to say Eagles. Man, I'll have to go back and listen. That's
Got to
a good
remember.
reason to go back and listen. There's no way I said Broncos, but maybe I did. I probably said Bills, Eagles. I
I
probably
think
said Bills.
you said Bills. If I'm thinking about it, I think you said Bills.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. We both got Texans. We both have Pats. We both have Rams. And then I have Bills. You have Jags. I have Niners. You have Eagles. And I have Bears. You have Packers.
That's
So
pretty
that's
good.
it.
Yeah, for that amount of games, it's pretty good that we have that many different.
Yeah. Yep. So, all right. So now I said I was going to go over the Super Bowl betting odds. So you just let me know how important this is to you. To me, the betting odds are important. So Carolina plus 20,000. So if you put $100 on Carolina right now, they're a playoff team, and they won the Super Bowl, you would win $20,000. Steelers next at 6,000. Chargers 3,000. Niners 2,700. Bears 2,000. Packers 1,900. Jags 1,400. Texans 1,000. Bills, 1,000. Patriots, 1,000. Eagles, 800. Broncos, 650. Rams, 440. And then Seahawks, plus 390. So your two top teams in the NFC are the Seahawks and Rams, and your two top teams in the AFC are the Broncos and Patriots. How do you feel about these odds? Do you think they even matter? Can the Carolina Panthers or the Pittsburgh Steelers win it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that the ones that have, like you said, the Panthers or the Steelers, I think it's not happening. Um, but everything else, I see, it seems pretty accurate for the most part, and it's so wide open. I'm a little bit surprised that Seattle has that much more of an edge over the rest of the field. Um, the Rams, I feel like the Rams, they also got the benefit of playing Carolina in the first game, and we know how Vegas feels about Carolina. And then you got Seattle. I don't know. I think that overall, that does seem pretty accurate to me. What were the Eagles?
Eagles are the fourth. They're at plus 800.
So,
Eagles are plus 800. And
so
then
who?
Broncos plus
What?
6. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Say the top four again.
Top four: Seahawks plus 390, Rams plus 440, Broncos plus 650, Eagles plus 800, and then Patriots plus 1,000. But there are three teams with plus 1,000. So Bills and Texans are also plus 1,000.
Huh.
Best way to split this up for you right here, because I think this is how it goes. Plus 1,000 and under teams. So there's 7 teams, all have a shot. The plus 1,400 and above, they're out of it. So the teams that have a shot, the 7 teams: Seahawks, Rams, Broncos, Eagles, Patriots, Bills, Texans. The teams that fall outside of that, the 7 teams, plus 1,400 or worse: Jags, Packers, Bears, Niners, Chargers, Steelers, Panthers. None of these teams, in my opinion, have a shot.
I think that's fair. The only team that I would say from the upper seven that you said would be, in my opinion, Jacksonville. I think they've shown that they can beat anyone. It's just going to be hard for them to string together multiple games, of course. But outside of that, I think that sounds right to me.
Yeah. Which is crazy. I just don't know how I don't know how these sports books do this, because I know they're
Now,
running like
sorry to cut you off, but yeah, I don't see the Rams having the second highest odds. Is kind of surprising to me. And it's interesting that the team that has the first and the team that has the second are going to play each other most likely in the second round of the playoffs here. So that's kind of interesting to me. Um, but overall, I agree.
yeah, and I kind of look at this stuff kind of like the Bible, because sports betting has only been legal in Ohio for like 2, maybe 3 years now. So like when it first came out, I remember just putting like, all right, $10 on like, the last couple years. Like I'll put like $10 on, let's say, the Niners, Chargers, Steelers, and Panthers. All of those 4 teams, the bottom 4. Well, maybe they could go off on a run and win the Super Bowl. And I've just realized that those teams literally don't have a shot, which is crazy. Like, you would think that the Steelers would have a shot, but they really don't. So, um, yeah, it's probably going to come down to the Seahawks or Rams, or the Broncos or Patriots. I mean, and Eagles as well too. So we'll see. We'll see. I just thought that was interesting. So now that we've went over the playoff teams, our picks, it is Black Monday. So a lot of coaches were fired today. So the 6 openings in the NFL now are the Browns, Raiders, Falcons, Cardinals, Titans, and Giants. So Kevin Stefanski was fired. Pete Carroll was fired. Raheem Morris was fired. Jonathan Gannon was fired. Brian Callahan with the Titans was fired early in the season, and then Dayball was fired early in the season. So Were there any surprises with you on the firings that happened?
Nope, no surprises there. The only thing I have to say about that is that some of those jobs I think are going to be but have the potential to be pretty good jobs with the roster build. I think Cleveland is one. They have so many great young players. I don't know if Shador will pan out to be the quarterback of the future for them, but outside of Shador, they have so much talent. And if they can figure out that quarterback position, which is a hard if, I think that job will be good. Defense is great. A lot of young guys. I think the Atlanta job can be kind of appealing as well with the players that they have with Bijan. If Pennis can get healthy, and then they have some overall good talent on that team. It was a disappointing year for them. I think the Giants could be fun. I don't know if they'll be good, but they could be fun. They're kind of fun when they first put in Jackson Dart and they had Scatterboo and Britt Neighbors. So if they can get those young guys healthy and rolling again, I think that job would be a good one. It's New York City. So out of the firings, I think those would be the ones that I would be most excited to see if a new coach can come in and start to get something going for those teams.
I think Arizona, or not Arizona, Atlanta is probably the most ready team to win games next year. So if I'm a coach, maybe I would go to Atlanta. You know, they finished 8-9 and they fired the coach after 1 year. It's crazy. And apparently Raheem Morris was a locker room guy. Like all the guys after the game were like, calling to keep him around. So that was crazy. And the Raiders' job actually is kind of intriguing too because they have the number one overall pick. So what better way for a coach to come in, he can get the number one overall pick. He can have the quarterback he wants and build around that that quarterback and that team. And you'll have a little bit longer of a leash because you were the worst record, you got the number one overall pick. It's looking like it's going to be supposedly Fernando Mendoza. I haven't watched a lot of IU games, but maybe he's the guy, and maybe that's a spot you want to go to. New York is another nice one, like you said, with the weapons they have on the offensive side, and then honestly, Arizona, Tennessee, and the Browns. I wouldn't want to go to any of those situations. Browns have all the history to tell you that it's just not a good situation. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to go with Shador. I think they're probably going to look for another route, and it could be Tua, it could be Kyler, um, it could be Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's still on that team, and you don't buy the new Mercedes Benz and not use it. You can live in Cleveland, Ohio, and have the two-car sports car that's not great for the snow, but that's your only car. You're gonna have to drive it. So Browns might be rolling out Watson there next year. So what coach is going to want to go into that situation? And then Tennessee is that's a tough spot. I do like Cam Ward a little bit, but what else do they have there? And then Arizona, that would be my preferred choice of the three. Browns and the Titans, though, I would not want to go there. Um, but personally, I think that the Giants, Falcons, and Raiders would be my top picks as a coach.
Yeah, fair enough. I do think that the history of the Browns is a big turnoff, but I watched a lot of Browns games this year, and I'm surprised of how good their defense is. They didn't win a lot of games because their offense was so bad, but that defense, if they still keep Schwartz as the defensive coordinator, they still got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, like that defense is legitimate. If they can just get some type of decent play from the offense, all starts the quarterback because they've got, I don't know how well Junkins will from Ohio State will come up with his injury, with his broken leg. I don't know if he'll be able to play early on in the season next year. If they can get a receiver that's in the draft, I think that has to be something they're going to look for. But they got great tight end that's a rookie. They got great rookie running backs. They made a great rookie class on the defensive end too, with Graham from Michigan on the defensive line, and then they got the linebacker as well, who's probably going to win Rookie of the Year on the defensive side. So they got talent, and it is Cleveland, so it does feel like they're going to have figure out a way to mess it up. But really, it's just the quarterback position, so they got to figure that out. I'm rooting for him, of course.
I'm rooting for him too. I really am. I I personally think the Browns are gonna be hot garbage, trash until they open up that new stadium. I think until and that's it's set to open in the 2029 NFL season. So until then, I don't think Cleveland is gonna do anything. They have Deshaun on their books, so they don't have a lot of flexibility to go find a guy. Do they wanna go a quarterback? I'm sorry. Do they wanna draft a quarterback, with Shador there as well? Do they wanna be drafting a quarterback at 6? Because, probably top 2 or 3 quarterbacks are gonna be gone because some of these other teams, like the Raiders, need a quarterback. So, I think the stadium is gonna be a good for Cleveland. I think it's gonna be good for Cleveland because it's gonna be an indoor. They're gonna be able to have us host a Super Bowl there. These indoor stadiums are nice, and especially for Cleveland when it's cold and hard to. I mean, it's a disadvantage um, to have to play games. Your home stadium, it's cold. Um, the weather, like your offense, isn't going to run as smoothly as it would in perfect elements. So I think the dome is a great situation. And yeah, I mean, I think 2026, 27, and 28, I don't think the Browns are going to be anything. I could be wrong. I could completely be wrong, but that's just my guess. Not my guess there. So enough with the Browns. We'll go all over to the Ravens and Lamar and John Harbaugh. What do we think here? Do we think the Ravens running back? I personally think they do because there was injuries this year, and they still were pretty competitive, and it went down to the last week.
Yeah, I agree with that. This year, a lot of people are giving Lamar and John Harbaugh a lot of just like, bro, what happened? What happened? If you look at what happened, injuries happened. Even when Lamar was trying to play most of the season, he wasn't healthy. So they had that stretch where they lost those games where their team wasn't healthy. At the beginning of the year, it's like both sides of the ball were messed up, and then it was just the defense, then it was the offense. They just never had everything together. And unfortunately, with this team over the last couple of years, it always feels like something has gone wrong. It's been one year's penalties, the next year they drop the ball right at the goal line, whatever the case is, right? So I do think they run it back just because injuries were such a big reason why they weren't able to live up to expectations this year. But I do think that next year is probably going to be the last chance with this, head coach and Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. I think that's going to be their last rodeo. If it goes well, then of course they can continue on. But if it doesn't go well, if they don't make a deep playoff run, they don't make it to the Super Bowl, I think that's going to be the end of that. Um, I will say that a lot of this, as far as keeping John Harbaugh, I think you're going to have to talk to Lamar, whoever's making the decisions to be able to fire a coach. I think you're going to have to speak to Lamar about that. It's like, you want to run this back with him because it does seem like there's a little bit of disconnect this year and years past when it came to the whole injury reporting and John Harbaugh saying, yeah, like I think Lamar's going to play this week and then Lamar doesn't play that week and stuff like that. There's some things that were a little bit odd and off between that type of relationship, but it doesn't seem like from what we can see, it never really appeared that Lamar was unhappy with John Harbaugh or anything like that. So I think they run it back, but next year is it. That's the last shot
Pressure's
they got
on.
with that combo. Yep.
Pressure is on there, and I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan. I loved him at Louisville. I mean, he's just athletic, super athletic. Reminded me of Michael Vick, and I love that style of play. I really do. On the other side, he's 28 years old, and that style of play, I feel like he only has about 2 to 3 more years of that style of play. So they got to find some. He's got to figure something out because he's not going to be a quarterback that plays probably starts, after the age of 35. And it might even be hard for him to start at 35. So he's been had so much talent around him, and I don't know. I'm just looking at the future. I'm like, man, I just don't know how many more years Lamar can do this. And his rushing yards was down a lot this year. So it's like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy that he's been in the league as long as he has. Like, we're already he's year 7 right now. Let me see here. Lamar
Eight,
Jackson.
7 or 8. Yeah.
Yeah, 2018. Yeah, 8 years.
Yep.
That's a lot. That's hard on the body, man. It's hard on the body, especially when you run like he does. So, rooting for you, Lamar. I really am. Um, that's
I was
it.
so
I think
disappointed last night though, because I don't know if you watched the game, but the kicker missing the kick at the end.
yeah.
Lamar had an amazing fourth quarter. And then last year, was that last year that Mark Andrews dropped the ball
Mark Andrews,
yeah,
yeah.
he dropped the ball the year before that. Flowers had a fumble. So Lamar, rightfully so, you're the best player on the team, two-time MVP. A lot of times, it's gonna everyone's gonna talk about, is he underperforming? I think sometimes that was happening, but in my opinion, the last couple of years, he's been
Bad
doing
luck.
well in these he's been doing well in these high pressure games, and it's just something stupid happens, stupid for the Ravens, good for the other teams. But yeah,
yeah.
it just doesn't appear that it's in the cards for him right now. And that sucks this year because if they were able to find a way into the playoffs, this was one of the most open years that we've seen. So they could have made some noise, but it is what it is. This is what happens. At the end of the day, maybe he's got to get that ball into the end zone instead of getting it onto a 44-yard field goal.
Exactly. And that was what I was talking to my buddy about earlier. It's just like it's year 8 and you just don't know how many opportunities you're going to get. The Ravens don't know how many more times they're going to make it to the playoffs with Lamar. And the Broncos, like, this opportunity might not come again. So, like, that's why I have the expectation now. It's like they got to go win the Super Bowl. I'm
Yeah.
setting myself up for crazy disappointment, but like you can't count on like a Mahomes run with the Chiefs and the Brady. Like it is hard. Like look at Burrow. He might not ever get back to the Super Bowl. When Cincinnati fans thought, "Oh, it's a given. We got Burrow. We're going all the time." It's not how this league works. There are outliers, but it's
Yeah, I
tough to
mean,
do.
another good example is Detroit a couple years ago. Like everyone was like, "Yo, this Detroit team, they're ready, they're poised, they got all this talent." And then look what has happened to them over the last 2 years. So yeah, it's just unless your
That's a
names
great
is
point.
Mahomes or Brady, then everyone else is like, you lucky if you make it to the Super Bowl at all. I guess Jalen Hurts will have something to say about that after this playoff run, though, potentially.
Yes. Yes. With that Dan Campbell game 2 years ago, I remember texting people and being like, he went forward on 4th down thinking like, "Oh, we're gonna get back here every year." Like, it was I think the Lions had an opportunity to go take a field goal. I think it would have been like a 40-yard field goal, so 90% chance they're making that, to go up 17 in, like, the second half of the game. And he just didn't he didn't take he did I mean, we all know he went for it. And even the coach feels like, "Oh, we're gonna go back." And they're not the same. The Lions probably are gonna have to make big changes. So, yeah, it's interesting to see. Who are you gonna go with as your Super Bowl winner, now that the Ravens are out? Because you had the Ravens winning the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, so I had the Ravens against the Green Bay Packers and Ravens winning. And I wasn't alone with that. At the beginning of the season, the Ravens were Vegas's favorite to win the Super Bowl. So um, obviously, they didn't know what they were talking about. Injuries, of course. So now out of the AFC, oh man, oh man. How about you tell me yours first? Because I have to think about this a little harder.
Yeah, so like I said, I have expectations now. Broncos forced my hand. They are the 1 seed, and I think, Sean Payton was kinda saying this. You think about it like this, 2 home games, you win 2 home games and you're in the Super Bowl. So, I think the Broncos are they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna get to the Super Bowl. I think they're gonna win. My hope is that they don't play against a team that's won before. So if they play against the Eagles or Rams, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I don't know if they'll win that game, but there's a chance that they play against a team like the Seahawks, the Packers, And I'm talking about one before like the quarterback and coach. So either they could play the Niners, the Pack, any of those teams. I don't think that they will lose that game. So I think the Broncos are going to find a way to do it, man. I do. It's the defense. I think Sean Payton's been holding back a lot. You know, people are like, man, they barely beat the B team of the Chargers. If you watch that game, Sean Payton was the most vanilla game plan, wasn't trying to score a lot. These coaches don't want to give up. They're thinking about what plays they're running last 3 weeks because they want to save those for the playoffs. So I think the Broncos are going to do it. I think they are. It's it just lines up too perfectly, man. The Broncos won when I graduated college. I was the first in year to graduate college. And 2026 I'm getting married. It's just something about this year. It's a special year, and I think that's why it's going to happen. I've been telling Steph since week 1 we're going to win the Super Bowl the same year we're getting married. So I just think it lines up perfectly.
All right. Well, that's powerful. What was the team that you were playing though from the NFC? Did you make a pick?
Yeah, I didn't make a pick, but I'm going to say I think it's going to be the Niners. And the Broncos are going to beat the Niners in the Super Bowl.
Oh wow. Okay. 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 Well, yeah. First off, on your pick with Denver, that's reasonable given all the scenario you just laid out. That kind of feels like a little fantasy right there. But they are the number one seed, so how you can't you got to go with that. Like it's your squad, it's your year for
Yeah.
you, for them. I get that. But for me, I just have a real hard time seeing them being able to make it to the Super Bowl. Just like I feel that way about all these teams though. So if they do make it, I also wouldn't be shocked, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go. I don't even. I feel really hesitant saying it because they would have to beat Buffalo and then they'd have to beat your squad. But I'm gonna go Jacksonville. No one's talking about them. No one's even not for the Super Bowl, but to get out from the AFC. I think Jacksonville will make it from the AFC just because I'm looking like I like what their offense, the potential they have there. They have a very opportune. How you say that word?
Opportunistic.
Opportunistic. Yeah, they just get that ball. They turn the ball over. So I think they can figure out a way to win. They already beat Denver once in the regular season.
You think they would beat Denver twice in one season? You know what they say. It's hard to
It's hard.
beat a team twice, especially in Denver.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if probably not. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard, like I don't all these teams I feel like it would be difficult for them to win every single one.
We want it.
So,
We want the doubters. Bring them
yeah,
on.
I'm not even doubting. I'm just saying like I doubt every team on this list. I doubt. there,
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite in my mind. So I'm gonna go with the team that I've been kind of standing behind for the most, just like you're standing behind Denver. I don't stand behind Jacksonville like you stand behind Denver, but I've been riding with Jacksonville the last couple of years. So let's go Jags. And then out of the NFC, I'm just gonna go with the Eagles because they've been there, done that, like you've said, and I think they've been waiting for this moment to get back here. And I'm big on seeing something proven from your quarterback, and we all know all the talk, but Jalen Hurts seems to step it up when it matters most. And I don't think they'll have a problem with San Francisco. And then that Green Bay Chicago game, I can't see either of those teams being able to match up with them well. And then they just got to beat whatever team, the Rams or the Seahawks, coming up from that other part of the bracket. So I like the Eagles. So we got Jacksonville and the Eagles. So it's going to be a very
All
green
right.
Super Bowl.
Jags versus Eagles. And then I got Broncos, Niners. So just to, because, in betting terms, I have plus 650 versus plus 2,700. This is to win the Super Bowl. And you have plus 1,400 versus Eagles plus 800. So that's, yeah. I mean, 49ers, I guess, really is a long shot, plus 2,700. But We'll see. We'll see it. We'll see how it shakes out. I will say, I have to pull up this Jaguars schedule here. Now, they did beat the Broncos. I'm not here to make excuses or anything like that. They beat the Broncos. I don't think they would beat them again in Denver. That's tough. But their little win streak they're on right now. I don't know, 7, 8 games. Titans, Colts, Broncos, Jets, Colts, Titans, Cardinals, Chargers. They've been beating up some booty teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if those Jags, I think they could easily lose round one. I mean, obviously I picked against them, but they've been beating up on some booty teams, but they do have some good wins. They got a win against the Broncos. They got a win against the Chiefs early in the year. And who else did they beat that was notable? They beat the Chargers 35-6. That's probably their most impressive win. They beat the Niners, and they beat the Texans. So they do have some impressive wins. I got to give them credit there.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun playoff because I feel like all these teams are on the same level, except for, like we already mentioned, Steelers and Carolina. Everyone else play ball.
Play ball. That's it. We're just under an hour. I'm rooting for the Steelers, very heavy. I'm rooting for the Jags, very heavy, and the Patriots, very heavy. Because if that's the case, Steelers come to Denver. And then it's just one win away, baby. One win away. All right,
Steelers
man.
aren't
This was
winning.
a good one. Well, listen. -3.5. Apparently, it's going to be a close game.
I mean, it will. It's in Pittsburgh. It's Mike Tomlin. The offense for the Texans isn't great, but I just cannot see, like you said, like looking at the Steelers offense, like what are they going to do against that Texans defense? Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be like, try to get the ball out so fast. It's not going to be a good showing for that Pittsburgh offense.
They'll
It's
have
probably going to be
DK
an ugly
back.
game. It's going to be an ugly game.
Yeah. I mean,
Cold.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
cold. It might be 60 this weekend on Saturday here. I don't know why you left it. It's the same temperature. It's the same temperature.
Nah, bro, you'll see.
I see you.
No,
I saw that the video of you working out in California. You had your hoodie on. You had your sweatshirt on. I could see air, and I could see you breathing your
Oh,
air.
yeah, you can see everyone's air because the fog is crazy right here. Like, you can see my air right now, probably. It's like, it's not cold though. It hasn't got anywhere near that. It hasn't got below like 35 at all. It's typically in the mornings and night, it's like 40, mid 40s, and then middle of the day when that sun's out, it's 60s, feeling good. So
40s
definitely
is
not missing
cold,
the Ohio
but
winter.
it's not freezing for sure. Like you're cold in 40s.
Yeah,
100%.
like I'm cool, but like during the workouts and stuff, my hands might
You're
be cold
fine.
for a second, but then I'm good. In Ohio, it's like I try to work out outside. I'm like, you
can't even breathe. Yeah. Cool. All right, man. Well, this has been a fun pod. Thank you for all the listeners. I like the Monday schedule. This is cool. Any last
Yes,
words?
sir. I like it as well. Nope.
Right.
Excited to watch the football, and I know we got to wait till the weekend, but it's going to be a great NFL playoffs.
It will, and we got Thursday football for college football, so it's going to be a great football weekend for sure. Word. All right, that's it.
Yes,
Later.
All right, y'all. Peace. Thanks.